Now let's take a look at the West Slavic languages. The West Slavic languages include Polish, Czech, Slovak, Kashubian, Upper Sorbian, Lower Sorbian, and Silesian. The languages are spoken across a contiguous region encompassing the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Poland, former East Germany, and the western regions of the Ukraine, Belarus, and Lithuania. The West Slavic languages are all written using Latin-based scripts. There are over 50 million Polish speakers around the world. The United States alone is home to about 580,000 Polish speakers. In this map, you see the major and minor dialects, as well as the location of Kashubian and Silesian. Out of all the Slavic languages, I have studied Polish the most. As I mentioned, I studied in Poznan, Poland for 2 years, from 1979 to 1981. By the way, during my trekking trip in Nepal this year, I met many Poles along the way, and they often thought I was from Poland, and they were very surprised to hear that I'm a Japanese citizen. I still feel a strong connection with the language and people of Poland. According to the USA's Defense Language Institute ranking of difficulty, Polish is harder than any other Slavic language due to its grammar being uniquely irregular. In addition, Polish is infamous for its consonant clusters, typified by the name Grzegorz Brzęczykiewicz.
Name und Vorname?
Grzegorz Brzęczykiewicz. Brzęczykiewicz. Grzegorz. Brzęczykiewicz.
Was? Name und Vorname?
Grzegorz Brzęczykiewicz.
Geboren.
Chrząszcz Rzewoszyce, powiat Łękołody.
In Poland, Kashubian has been an officially recognized ethnic minority language since 2005. Some linguists claims it's a dialect of Polish or a remnant of Pomeranian language. It is spoken in the Pomerania region of northern Poland, the area known as Kashubia. Before World War II, Kashubian speakers were mainly surrounded by German speakers, with only a narrow border to the south with Polish speakers. Kashubian contains several features not found in other Polish dialects. For example, 9 distinct oral vowels versus 6 in standard Polish. Approximately 108,000 people use mainly Kashubian at home. Kashubian is closely related to Polish due to shared West Slavic roots. The lexical similarity is quite high, with some sources estimating it to be upwards of 80 to 90%. This high degree of similarity is one of the reasons why Kashubian is sometimes considered a dialect of Polish, though it has distinct phonological, syntactical, and lexical features that justify its status as a separate language. Opinions are also divided regarding whether Silesian is a distinct language or a dialect of Polish. The Silesian language or ethnolect is actually a group of several sub-dialects spoken today in mostly Upper Silesia. Historically, these dialects have been influenced by literary Polish, Czech, and German languages, as well as Slovakian and Slavic, a German dialect spoken in Lower Silesia before 1945. According to the last official census in Poland, about 460,000 people declared Silesian as their native language. Now, heading south from Poland, we find Czech and Slovak. Each language has its own standard form and is the official language of its respective country, Czech in the Czech Republic and Slovak in Slovakia. Nevertheless, it can be said that most varieties of Czech and Slovak are mutually intelligible, forming a dialect continuum rather than being two separate, distinct languages. Standardized forms of these two languages are, however, easily distinguishable and recognizable because of differences in vocabulary, orthography, pronunciation, phonology, suffixes, and prefixes. Slovak is the second language of this group that I learned. Actually, I had a long conversation with Slovaks in Thailand before I even studied the language. Of course, I could not answer using Slovak. I used a mixture of Polish and Croatian, as well as some Slovak I was learning on the spot. The first thing I noticed was the past tense is formed the same way in Croatian and other South Slavic languages. It involves combining a form of the auxiliary verb to be with the past participle of the main verb. For example, I read a book. Slovak, ja som čital knihu. Male speaker, female, ja som čitala. Croatian, ja sam čital knihu. Female, ja sam čitala knihu. Finally, we have Upper and Lower Sorbian, two Slavic languages spoken in parts of Eastern Germany by about 550,000 people. Upper Sorbian is spoken around Bautzen and Lower Sorbian north of Cottbus. Interestingly, the difference between the two is very much based on religious differences between Protestants and Catholics who lived in fairly closed communities in separate villages. Upper Sorbian shows more similarities to Czech, while Lower Sorbian shows more similarities to Polish. Now let's listen to some samples of these languages. First we have Polish, Czech and Slovak.
Zobaczymy, jak to będzie. Chociaż już na pierwszej konferencji prasowej pani Borys Szopa miała dobre wieści, że bezrobocie w Polsce jest rekordowo niskie. No zobaczymy, jak to będzie. Pani minister Rafalska nie miała się dostać do Parlamentu Europejskiego. Ona miała zrobić dobry wynik. I dla niej samej to było zaskoczenie, bo jedna z wiadomości telewizyjnych pokazywało jej wypowiedź, kiedy do pana Brudzińskiego mówiła:
V souvislosti s nákazou koronavirem řeší české úřady naprosto přelomový případ. V zemi se objevil první člověk, u kterého není jasné, kde a kdy se nakazil. Nemocným je taxikář, který v minulých 3 dnech podle hygieniků rozvezl po Praze nejméně 90 lidí. Úřady se snaží vystopovat všechny jeho zákazníky.
10 rokmi vyšiel v krátkých nohaviciach na Mount Everest. Bez topánok bežal maratón za severným polárnym kruhom a bez vody odbehol ďalší maratón v namíbijskej púšti.
Aby toho nebolo málo, neuveriteľných 112 minút vydržal v nádobe plnej ľadu.
Holandský motivátor a kaskadér Wim Hof je na Slovensku.
And in this video we have Silesian followed by Kashubian.
To je takie urządzenie, na odmiana do szparbiksy tego nie poradzimy trzymać doma. To je za srogie, co by my to mieli kaś w chałupie, kaś we izbie. To je ino stoć na placu. I to je takie urządzenie, które je pomocne, kiedy sprzątamy.
Ja myślę, że też rozumie, łecim te gydu, nie miał czasu, żeby rzeknąć, ale te gydu łecim, że to jest coś, co je zawiódzi, żeby trzymać w hecie i to plus stoi byten i że to ledzuma je przedotny do tego, żeby nagląc coś doma.
And finally, Upper and Lower Sorbian.
Čečci. Ja přeju si. Přeju ci šo dobre k narodninam. Přeju ci strovotu a úspěch. Gratulovač. Ja gratuluju.
Życyš se. Życem si šo dobre k Narodnemu dniu. Życem si zdrowość a úspěch. Gratulirować. Gratulirujom si k Narodnemu dniu.
Thus, there are 5 to 7 West Slavic languages depending on the results of the language dialect debates. Now, for the first language that you should learn from this group is Polish for sure. Why? Polish ranks second in terms of native speakers, and it assists the most in understanding the other West Slavic languages as well. Obviously, Slovak helps more with Czech than Polish does. But when considering the West Slavic group as a whole, plus Ukrainian and Belarusian, Polish provides the most help overall. With a combined knowledge of Polish and Russian, it is possible to understand a great deal of Ukrainian and Belarusian.